doubt that my daddy was the head of the house. That's spiritual, it's what it was supposed to be. But what, I don't know if this is in scripture or not, I believe it is, but I will tell you that mama is the neck that turns the head. And that if mama ain't happy, y'all know that, right? You know that. So what does it take to be a good mom? A mother, it loves unconditionally. We love our children no matter what they do. We don't love what they do, but we love our children no matter what they do. We love them if they are in prison. We love them if they are President of the United States. I don't even want to go there. But I will tell you that you always question, as a mother, you wonder if you're doing the right thing. And then a couple of years ago, and in fact in Mother's Day of 2010, my own daughter sent me an email. And I printed it out to read to y'all tonight because it's so appropriate for a mother. Because I think we all doubt when we're growing up, are we raising these children right? Are they going to turn out to be productive members of society? Are they going to be good Christian parents? How are they going to be? Because y'all know the truth is that when sometimes they're coming up, we just want to kill them and tell the Lord they died. You know, don't you just want to? All right, well, I'm going to read that, but I forgot something I did want to tell you. It's on the back of my notes here. Do we have any young moms in here or young children? Who has young moms? Any young moms? Are we all old ladies? Oh, right there. Tana's young. Okay, well, so we have children, a lot of us have children that are growing up, and I'm going to give y'all the test to know if you're prepared to be a mom. Y'all ready? Here you go. First, you have to take the mess test. And the mess test, you smear peanut butter on the sofa and curtains, and you put fish sticks behind the couch and leave them for a month. Oh, don't forget the permanent magic marker all over the walls. And the toy test. This is my brother-in-law's favorite test. He loves this one. It's the Lego test. You take a 55-gallon drum of Legos. And if you don't have Legos, you can use carpet tacks. And you spread them out over your floor, and then you blindfold yourself and get from the kitchen to the bedroom without waking the baby. And you know, one of the worst curses you can say to somebody if you're mad at them is, I hope you step on a Lego. Right, George? How about the grocery store test? You borrow one or two small animals like goats, and you take them with you to the grocery store, and you have to keep them in sight, and you have to pay for everything they eat or damage. Because that's like taking the babies to the grocery store. The dressing test. Get one large, unhappy live octopus. Stuff it in a net bag, getting all the arms inside. Then you're ready to dress your baby. A feeding test. This one cracked me up. You get a large plastic milk jug, you fill it halfway with water, and you suspend it from the ceiling, and then start swinging it. And then you try to spoon soggy Cheerios into the mouth of the jug. And about halfway down, you let it hit the floor. That's what it's like feeding an infant. The night test. George, this was just for you now. You get a small cloth bag and you fill it with 8 to 12 pounds of sand, and you wet the sand. And then at 8 o'clock, you get up and start waltzing and humming to the sand until about 9. And then you lay the bag of sand down, and you set the alarm and get up at 10. And then you pick up the bag and you sing every song you know, and then you finally get in the car, put the sack in the car seat, and ride around the neighborhood for a couple of hours. Then you come back, and then at 5 o'clock, you get up and make breakfast and act your night with your newborn. And then, the women, you will understand this one, get a large beanbag chair to see if you're ready to be pregnant, and attach it to the front of your clothes and leave it there for 9 months, and at the end of 9 months, take out 10 of the beans. Those are just some little tests to see if you're ready for being a mother. But to get on a more serious note, I want to read you what my daughter wrote. I'm going to try to do this without crying. I've said it like 50 times today, trying to do it where I wouldn't cry. Because you always question, did I do right? Did I make the right decision? Did I lead them right? Did I give them good advice? Well, Beth wrote this to me. My daughter lives in Memphis with my 2 granddaughters, and I get to go see them this week for our little Sophie's 2. And Mom and I are going up there this week. But this is what she wrote me on Mother's Day of 2010. Mom, I spent the day yesterday reflecting on a few things you taught me. You taught me that happiness is a choice, and you taught me how to always make that choice regardless of the circumstances. You taught me God first, family second, and career third. And when you taught me that, you gave me the blueprint for being a working mom. You taught me how to bargain shop. You taught me that women are the glue in a family unit, and by teaching me this, you prepared me for that responsibility. And I know you learned this from Nanny. You taught me that everything tastes better if you throw a ham bone in it while it's cooking. Amen. You also learned that from your mother. And long before anyone had ever coined the phrase attachment parenting, you taught me all about it. Because of your parenting decisions with us, I've experienced the joys of breastfeeding and co-sleeping, and it's bonded me with my daughter in ways I could never imagine. You taught me the importance of good skin, and now it's my livelihood. You taught me nothing about politics or world history. I learned all that from Daddy, but that's okay, because unbeknownst to you, your lack of interest on these subjects reaffirms to me that our kingdom is not of this world. Amen. You taught me how to love Jesus, and if that is the only thing I ever teach Caroline, then my job will be done. I love you, and I miss you every day, but I'm so grateful to have such a precious mother. See, I did it without crying. That part. And to end this, I'm going to read you one of my favorite childhood stories about being a mom. This is a story that I read to my children when they were growing up, and I can remember sitting in my rocking chair when Beth was born, and reading this story, and rocking her, and reading it and crying. So once again, I'm going to try to get through this without crying, because I read it over and over, so I kind of prepared myself for it. But this is a story, and it's called I'll Love You Forever, I'll Like You For Always. And some of you may know this story. A mother held her newborn baby and very slowly rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she held him, she sang, I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby will be. The baby grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was 2 years old, and he ran all around the house. He pulled all the books off the shelves, he pulled all the food out of the refrigerator, and he took his mother's watch and flushed it down the toilet. And sometimes his mother would say, this kid is driving me crazy. But at nighttime, when that 2-year-old was quiet, she opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, looked up over the side of his bed, and if he was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby will be. The little boy grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was 9 years old. And he never wanted to come in for dinner, and he never wanted to take a bath. And when Grandma came, he'd always say bad words. Sometimes his mother wanted to sell him to the zoo. But at nighttime, when he was asleep, his mother quietly opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, looked up over the side of the bed, and if he was really asleep, she picked up that 9-year-old boy, and she'd rock him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby will be. That boy grew. He grew and he grew and he grew, and he grew until he was a teenager, and he had strange friends, and he wore strange clothes, and he listened to strange music. And sometimes his mother felt like she was in the zoo. But at nighttime, when that teenager was asleep, the mother opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, looked up over the side of the bed, and if he was really asleep, she picked up that great boy and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she sang to him, I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, and as long as I'm living, my baby will be. That teenager grew. He grew and grew and grew, and he grew until he was a grown-up man. He left home and got his own house across town. And sometimes on dark nights, the mother got in her car and drove across town. And if all the lights in her son's house were out, she'd open his bedroom window, crawled across the floor, looked up over the side of the bed. And if that great big man was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, and she sang to him, I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby will be. Well, that mother got older. She got older and older and older. And one day she called up her son and said, you better come and see me because I'm very sick. So her son came to see her. And when he came in the door, she tried to sing the song, and she sang, I'll love you forever, and I'll like you for... She couldn't finish because she was too old and sick. So the son went to his mother. He picked her up, and he rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he sang this song, I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always. As long as you're my mommy, your baby I'll be. When the son came home that night, he stood for a long time at the top of the stairs. He went into the room where his very new baby daughter was sleeping, picked her up in his arms, and very slowly rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while he rocked her, he sang, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby will be." And sing your moms until the day we die. So if your mom is on this earth right now, cherish her. Cherish her. And if she's not, why don't you go do something for another mom somewhere that needs an act of kindness? Thank you so very much, and I hope I left you all crying.